Joe. Ask Joe. Joe Theismann's Redskins Reports with George Michael.
My watch.
I'm trying to save your image.
I'm trying to fix my watch.
Oh, excuse me. Well, I fixed my new $12,000 Rolex, which I'm working on my Super Bowl ring. Did you all notice good?
Well, you embarrassed me. Last week you said I had my. I checked this morning to see if I
receiving all these awards that you've received, being named the NFL of this and the player of that, I would think you would become humble.
I am human. I'm human and humble, both. I'm human.
Joe Theismann's Redskin Report, brought to you by Joe Theismann and all your associated. Boy, there isn't anything you don't own these days, is there?
Lately, we've been all right. No, there's a few things.
I thought you were going to lose a game in the fourth quarter.
I did, too. It got to be a very, very close football game. And we never really felt comfortable when it was 21-0 either. That's the most important thing, is this football team has learned how to deal with every type of adversity. And probably the best thing that happened to us was to get a scare like that to let us know that the 51-7 game the week before wasn't going to be as easy as it looked like.
That would mean that my next question really is not necessary, and that is that you guys aren't going to be overconfident for the Raiders in Super Bowl 18?
There's absolutely no way we will be overconfident for the Raiders in Super Bowl 18. It is a delight to be going to Super Bowl 18. We're going to talk about
Jimmy
the Raider
the Greek
game.
says that the Raiders will roll up a big score on the Redskins.
Check your source. When Jimmy the Greek speaks, check your source. We've got a lot of things when we come back to Joe Theismann's Redskins Report. We're going to talk about the 49er victory, some controversial plays, a look at the Raiders, a look at the Skins-Raiders game, Rich Milot, and a very special guest, so don't go away.
Welcome back to Joe Theismann Redskin Report. There are some special guests, and I'd like for you to meet our special guests, starting first of all with number 57, Rich Milot, a man who doesn't get as much credit as you should get. Now, I don't want to embarrass you, but it has been a year where really they've said, hey, who's that guy at 57, like it was Denard. Said, I don't know who he was, but boy, 57 was all over me. How do you feel about the fact that they don't, not everybody says, that's Rich Milot?
I don't know. I feel, you like to get the credit that you think's due to you, and it's not only me, but I think it's a whole linebacking core. I think we've been a linebacking core. We've been all over the field, and we play really well together. And I think it's more important for me, for the whole group to get the.
They need a name, George.
Oh, no, we got enough names.
They need a name. We need one.
We'll come up with something else.
Crew, the defensive line and the linebackers, the only two that really aren't named yet.
Oh, wait a minute. I guess I ought to introduce the other quarterback. The other quarterback is a well-known convict. He runs the longest yard. I think he wears number 1, which will really tick off Theismann to think that somebody has number 1 and Joe has to be number
22.
Oh, what, did you wear 22 the longest ever?
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds is here to add a little touch of class to Joe's show today. Tell me what you thought of the 49ers game with the Redskins Sunday.
I had a strange feeling that it was going to go that way. I don't know why. I had this awful feeling that it was going to start slipping through their fingers because it looked so easy in the first quarter, the second quarter, and Joe, I felt was a little out of the box. Yeah.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
1 foot in the sink.
Thanks a lot.
How soon can you come back to the show? No, we've been looking for somebody with serious. Boy, Theismann, you stumped the joint out. I love it. Go, Burt. You're on a roll. Don't stop now.
Hey, Burt, thanks for stopping by. I know you got to go. I know you have another appointment. And
videotape.
Rich.
I can videotape right now.
Let's do as Burt says and check out how this happened. 24-21 was the final count. The Redskins knock off the 49ers. All right, we start first of all. I want you to comment on this, Rich Milot. Special teams play. Number 51 gets right down there.
Oh, it's a great play. It's our special teams have been doing this all year, and Monty's been doing this all year. And we had trouble when we get them on the 1 yard line. I think throughout the year we've had a few put a few things on the 1 yard line.
We get scared to death when on the 1. They go 99 yards like nothing.
3 or 4 plays.
Burt, here's the kind of play you would pull in the longest yard. The punt comes to Giaquinto. You remember?
I thought it was a good call. I mean, I thought it was a bad call. It really is very, right on the border.
Oh. How the naked eye picks that up. Joe, did you get a chance to see the play when it happened?
Matter of fact, I didn't even move upfield for the extra point. I could see Nick actually started to take a step forward. Darryl took a step backward, but as Nick came forward, the defenders forced him a little bit. He had to throw it sideways as opposed to back a little bit. It was a great play by Wayne Sevier in the special teams. It was one of those things. I think it's going to make people aware that we will do things like that now.
Jack Reynolds. Now, what does a linebacker feel like when you're Jack Reynolds here? You see Riggins coming.
And that's the, I don't know if I'd want to be in that situation. I've never had a tackle John yet. And I'd probably have trouble. I wouldn't know how to tackle him high or low. Or...
We asked Reynolds what happened on a play afterwards. He crossed the goal line. What else you want to ask?
Well,
nice guy to talk to. Oh, great interview. That is lovely. All right, if you're a punter, you got to be daring, and you all know that Jeff Hayes did this, and you don't get to see the blocks thrown by Charles Mann and Mark Murphy that made it possible. And then, Burt Reynolds, could you think you could throw a good pass? Someone said that you could throw a pass better than John Riggins.
I've been accused of that a lot.
We know that. This is the halfback, fullback, singleback pass.
Everybody on our offense throws. Everybody tries to block, everybody throws. There's another great catch. John simply said it's simple when you got Charlie Brown out there. You put it up, and he's just going to go up and get it.
Yeah, he just went up in the air and just took it away.
Phenomenal football player. Charlie gets better and better.
Speaking of Charlie Brown,
here's the other one.
Joe Theismann waits and says, hurry up, Charlie, here come the 49ers.
We've thrown hitches all day, and you can see the two safeties closing on him now. They had rolled outside to take away the outside hooks. Charlie went right up the middle against Keena Turner, the linebacker, and when Charlie gets in the open field, he's unbelievable. Everybody wants to come down and congratulate him. Now he's going to make everybody miss that.
He made them all miss, and then he finally got together for the fun bunch. Watch the right of your screen. Tony McGee says, will you guys hurry up? I want to congratulate Charlie Brown.
See how they wait? See the respect the fun bunch has? The guys are even waiting for him.
All right, Rich Milot, where are you on the 76-yard touchdown pass play? I couldn't find you.
I can't find my stuff. I think I'm chasing it from the back. I'm way in the back, and... you know, you've got a guy that Darryl Green can't catch. I don't think you expect me to catch him.
When it's 21-21 and Mosley goes on the field, what goes through your mind, Rich?
Well, he didn't have a real good day for the most part, but I think if you want to be in a game with a kicker kicking a field goal in a pressure situation, you know, let it be Mark Mosley. And we all felt confident that he would make it. And we probably would have killed him if he didn't, but...
For Mosley, you have to imagine what it must have been like. Joe, you've been there before.
Mo and I have been in the same situation quite a few times, and the most unusual thing about what happened to him is the first three kicks, he literally kicked off the right side of his foot. He kept pushing him right and pushing him right and pushing him right. Finally, he hits an extra point solid, and I said to him, okay, you're in the groove. Then he lines up for the next to last field goal. He hits it straight because he shortened his stride, but he hits it short. It's a 40-41-yarder. So I figured if we could get a little bit closer, and really the footing had a lot to do with it. The sand out there is unbelievable. It's just like a beach, and everybody, their legs were exhausted after the game. He shortened his stride up. He hit it straight, and he compensated a little bit. He played it a little bit left, so if it did go right, he'd be okay.
Burt. Scripts, movie scripts, you always try to keep them brief because you know you can't memorize over 65 seconds.
True.
What is it like having a Joe Theismann, I mean, where he has to contain himself to a 14-second soundbite?
Oh, it must be impossible. I mean, I don't know. I just wonder how he gets out of the huddle, you know. I mean, you know, without talking about half the biography and this new book coming out next week, and his screenplay and his movie and the story of his life, which I'm much too old to play, but he's going to let me play his father.
How did you two ever get acquainted? By the way, before I get to that, let's get that. Can we talk?
Sure.
What are you going to offer Rich Milot in movies? The guy has been, you know, 57. Denard, like I said, he said, boy, what a linebacker. Everybody talks about him. Obviously, look what you've done for Theismann. Imagine what you could do with a real, you know, hulk of a guy.
I have plans for Rich. We're going to talk later. And
wait a minute.
I'm just worried about getting through this show right now.
First of all,
putting pressure on
we're going to talk later and, you know, see what...
You just finished your latest movie.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about that.
Just one quick question.
Talk about what? Football. What?
Football.
Yeah.
Football. You're okay. Somebody said that you got a near miss. You know, near misses, you have to be careful.
Oh, I got shot in the eye.
Got shot in the eye?
You got those... don't ever have anybody point a blank gun.
Blank gun at you?
Because they're loaded with wads of paper. I got shot in the eye.
But everything's okay.
It's very close, but fortunately, us rugged guys, I have to say that when you're sitting between these two guys, because, you know,
you have to say it. I mean, I'll just, you know, as Rich Milot would say, would go for the life preserver jacket. When we return, we're going to take a look at some of the most controversial plays that took place. Joe Theismann's Redskin Report with all kinds of special guests. More to come in a moment. Tell me that you don't know what we're doing in this particular segment of the show, Joe?
You do this to me all the time.
Find out if Burt Reynolds is important. You have Super Bowl tickets yet?
Yes.
George, excuse me.
I'm the only guy that ain't got tickets.
And if you keep doing this, you won't go. I promise.
Have you got tickets yet, Rich?
I don't have tickets yet either.
No, we don't have them. We're planning on it. We're hoping to get them soon, but we don't know what we're going to get or how many we're going to get.
If you go
but I know for sure where a couple of them won't go if you keep this up.
If you go to the Super Bowl, you're supposed to be an L.A. resident now. How can you be friends with Joe Theismann and root for a Washington team when all your friends are in L.A.?
I don't have any friends in L.A.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, would you all write that down? He said it right here on the Joe Theismann. Oh, Burt. No wonder you guys get along. It gets deep in here. Ladies and gentlemen, there was a little controversy surrounding the conclusion of the Redskins-49ers game. In fact, afterwards, as you may know, Ronnie Lott said, and don't think the Redskins are so good. Had it not been for the referees, they wouldn't have beaten us, which I thought was in rather poor taste, and I think today he probably wouldn't make that statement. Nonetheless, the officials have taken some heat. Let's take a look and see what you think about some of the calls that were not made. First of all, there were very few, on none of the plays you see here, Rich Milot, was there a yellow flag call on the 49ers? Was there holding anywhere? Now, is this holding or not? Joe Theismann has already told me this is not holding.
Tony will lock his right arm up.
Oh, it's definitely holding. I don't think you could, after a game, you shouldn't complain against with the officials. There are always, plays they miss, calls they miss, and calls they make. I think for the most part they did a good job.
Burt Reynolds, if you were an official, as a fan, would you have called a violent hit on Darrell Green? Would you have penalized him here for unnecessary roughness on his? You'll get
definitely.
That's
you would have. Yeah, definitely.
All right, Rich, what would you have said? Would you? Because you recovered the fumble.
Yeah, it looked like it was a pretty high shot, but
it could have grazed off
a
his
game
shoulder
like that. I don't know if I would have. Stop the momentum on it. I really didn't hit him too hard.
It grazes off his shoulder and comes up a little high.
Being a defensive player, that's a
I think that what they said, folks, was that one was the one that the Redskins got away with. Let's be honest about it. Now, tell me about this one. Joe Theismann, you're throwing for Art Monk. Is this pass interference?
It's a stop and go to Art. I think it is. Art thinks it is. The guy hits him while he's reaching for the ball. He's trying to bend back in for the ball. Now,
no interference was called here.
To clarify my point, watch his left arm. Now, I don't know, you can argue a lot of different issues in this game. They let a lot of contact go. They called some contact in the football game. Here's
the controversial play of the game. 49ers say no interference should have been called. Art Monk comes up right away and says, hey, that man was grabbing me.
Well, they say it because the ball was not catchable. The reason it's not catchable is because the guy pushes Art just as he starts to lean towards it. He gets knocked off balance, and he gets shoved out. Now, Art very seldom will come up and complain. He's not that kind of football player. But in this instance, he did come up and raise a particular point.
I think an interesting thing in that call was that the defensive back never argued with the call.
Oh, he didn't.
Never.
Ronnie Lott here grabs Charlie Brown and holds him for a good 6 or 7 yards. And then Charlie says, hey,
Charlie
number 42, he's the guilty party. See? I saw. Don't you agree, Burt, Charlie Brown? I mean, you got some guys here that should be in Hollywood.
They will be.
In all likelihood, they'll wind up there.
I'll be watching. I watch these guys. I look around. Tom Selleck is
is he going to play for
checking my underwear right now? And I figured that Rich will be out here soon, and Joe is gone there. I mean, his mind is out there. I mean, his body's here, but his mind's out there.
Don't stop.
Oh, come on.
No,
it's about time. I think it's great that on your show.
How disappointed were you didn't get drafted out of college to play professional football? Now,
I was heartbroken.
Seriously?
I was shattered. But
did you really? I mean, that is what you wanted to do?
Yeah.
That was what you wanted to do?
More than anything in the world. But I got to do it. I got to play football and get paid for it. Just because I was doing a movie, but I mean, I got to do it, so I got to live out my
fantasy. Did you have as much fun doing it?
Wait a minute, were you really? How good were you in college?
I don't know how good I was. I was a blue chip high school football player. I was all state, all Southern, and I drafted. I was sought by 12 or 13 Southern colleges, and then I signed with the University of Miami. And in those days, you could kind of move around a lot better than you can now. And I drifted on up to Florida State because everything was better, and we were just going into big-time football, just going from playing the schools that if I mentioned them, you guys would really get the giggles, and to Alabama and schools like that. And when you suddenly go from playing Stetson to Alabama, you see a real change in the guys around you, your lockers, And we had guys that had been to about 4 or 5 different universities and had fought in 2 wars. And were as old as my father. And then we had some guys who were just real strange-looking kamikazes, and were there only to play football and not to go to school. But that was the 50s, and it was a strange time in college football. I don't hope it'll never come back.
But you know where those guys are today? They play for the Oakland Raiders, or the L.A. Raiders, I mean.
The Raiders remind me a lot of some of those guys.
We'll be back with a look at the L.A. Raiders and the guys that Burt Reynolds used to play high school football with.
Play to intimidate.
We were talking about the Raiders and Joe Theismann. You just heard Raiders, all those you looking in the show. He said terrible. Is that what you said, terrible? Or did I quote you out of context?
You are really, really trying to stir something up.
Hey, man, it's been dull. Come on, Alzado says he's going to knock Riggins' head off. What are you going to do?
I'm going to stand there and watch. I'm not going to get involved if he feels that way about it. I mean, you know, we'll do everything we can to protect John.
Tell me what you can do to stop the Raiders. Running game, especially. Marcus Allen, who will be healthy this time.
I think, you know, they're coming at our strength, and that's our strength is our rush defense. And I think we did a good job against them last time we played them for the most part of the game. And, you know, we just have to do the same thing. They're a physical team. We're a physical team. And it's a game that we enjoyed playing. I think from a defensive standpoint, we wanted this matchup. And they're not the type of team that's going to trick you. They're just going to come out and try to beat you. And we're looking forward to it.
Let's take a look at how it went the first time these two teams met. Way back on week number 5. The Redskins beat the Raiders 37-35. But, Joe, you've got to admire Jim Plunkett. It's like he is older than Burt and older than you.
Yeah, Jimmy keeps...
He is a couple of months older than you.
He keeps showing up and doing a great job. Here he makes a great throw to Cliff Branch.
Who will be back for Super Bowl 18.
Right here you'll see him pull a in a little while now. Cliff can run. Gives you an idea how fast Curtis Jordan is. Well,
no, he didn't.
Running out of gas a little bit. Yeah, right there he pulls it up a little bit. Right there. You can see the legs start to go, and he limps on in. But he did pull a hamstring on that particular play. 99 yards. That's why we're concerned about having the ball down on the 1.
Joe Theismann with a little nice pass here to Joe Washington.
This is a little move where Joe does a little one-on-one move and gets into the corner of the end zone. Joe played a great football game. It was one of the best football games Joe Washington played, and he's had some great ones in his career, but I think that one has to be one of the most memorable.
Special teams, Rich. They fell down on this one.
I think they probably have something to prove. And well, that was the longest punt return, I think, ever, against the Redskins. And we have such great special teams. Something like that should never happen. And we have a great special team coach, and I'm sure he's going to be fired up this week. We're going to see this about 10 times.
Did you get a chance to see this game, Burt?
Yes, I did.
Could you believe the heroics of Joe Theismann? One touchdown after another, coming right at you on this one.
That's Charlie Brown getting in the end zone. Charlie just took a personal challenge on. I really believe some of the key matchups in the game are going to be our wide receivers against their cornerbacks, Mike Haynes and Lester Hayes. Well, with Charlie Brown and Art Monk doing the job they have to. This is luck. I mean, football has great plays, it has great players, it has great strategy, but you can't win unless you got some luck. And there we managed, Greg Williams manages to recover the onside kick. Without this, we don't have a chance to score. They can kill the clock and run it out.
Well, and then came the dramatic finish. Redskins are trailing. You're out of time. Joe Theismann over the middle of Joe Washington, who got hit at the line, almost didn't get free. Hey, Burt, this was right out of the longest
straw. It was. It really was. I was sitting with a whole bunch of people in our business, my business, and they were all saying the same thing. And we all were going crazy. And you wonder why we're such fans of those kind of finishes. It just
knowing just by listening to you how much you like football, knowing of the immense success of the longest yard, why haven't you done another movie like that?
It's hard to find a script, first of all, if you like the game as much as I do, that guys like Rich and professional ball players are not going to say, this is ridiculous, you know. So you got to get something that's going to be real and you're going to believe and they're going to believe. And I think that was one of those rare kind of things. But it's hard to find a real good sports picture. Sorry.
How much are you intimidated by the word the Raiders? I know you're not, but nonetheless, when you say the Raiders, you automatically think of really bad, ugly, mean people that don't shave and don't use deodorant, right?
No, not at all. And well, they're like that, but that's a different part of it. But you know, what I'm thinking about is I'm thinking back to the last game, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to be part of, and I just hope the Super Bowl's half that exciting.
Thoughts? You getting ready to go to Tampa Bay?
I can't wait. They build these for us, I think. We've managed to have the best record in football over the last couple of years, and it's an opportunity for us now over a 16-game season to prove that we're worthy to be called world champions 2 years in a row. I look at it like Richie does. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I really can't wait.
Do we have the gift for our guest, Burt Reynolds? Do we have the gift? There is none. There you've seen it, ladies and gentlemen, live impromptu. Joe Theismann doesn't have
George did it. Burt, thank you very much for coming out. Really appreciate it. Good to see you.
Take
care.
Have a great game down there.
Thank you.
All right, Joe.
Take
Good
care,
week,
George.
man.
Thank you very much.
See y'all for Super Bowl 18. We'll be with you on a very special show next Thursday night, live from Tampa. See you then.
All eyes are on the Redskins, and so are the cameras of Channel 4 News. All this week at 6 and 11, George Michael and Joe Theismann will report.